share with you a very fun and whimsical dessert called the trifle. And actually the trifle, the term trifle, comes from a French term truffle, which literally means whimsical or of no consequence. And so it's sort of interesting that the trifle, which is typically made in a trifle dish like this, has sort of taken on that vernacular that you know, oh, it's just nothing. But one thing I will say is that the trifle is whimsically lovely and beautiful. And in fact, sometimes a trifle is made not only to be delicious, but also to be decorative for a dessert. So it's a perfect dinner party dessert, whether you're serving dinner, a dinner party at your home, or whether you're taking the dessert dish as part of your contribution to the dinner party. So there's so many different ways to do a trifle. Today I'm going to do it with blueberries, lemon curd, freshly whipped cream, and some blueberry jam. So it's going to be a wonderful layering of flavors, which is basically what a trifle is. But you can do it almost with any kind of berries in combination with jams, creams, custards, and just make your own layering effect. And then, of course, you do want to put a little alcohol on the biscuits, whether you use what I'm going to use, which is Ladyfingers, which are pretty traditional, but you can also use angel food cake or other types of cake that would absorb nicely with the alcohol. So this is going to be a beautiful blueberry lemon curd trifle, and I promise I won't be trifling with you, but I am going to show you how to make it, so stick around. So step one on the trifle is to focus on the lemon curd. So it's so easy, you can't even believe it. This particular recipe is quite sweet. You still have that nice lemon tart flavor, but it's not overly tart, which I don't really like in a lemon curd. So this is a nice sweet one. The way you do it is you start with your saucepan off the heat, and you put in a cup of sugar. We've got 8 egg yolks. You can reserve the whites for another use. And a tablespoon here of zest from the lemons, which is lovely. Zest always gives anything with that you want to have a lemon flavor, just the best lemon flavor. And in fact, if you have lemons and you don't really have an immediate purpose for them, you can zest them and then put the zest in the freezer and keep it till you do need it. So that's a great thing to do. So what we want to do is once those are all in the pot, we're going to whisk them up so they're all incorporated, just like that. And then once they're all incorporated, we're going to actually put in the juice. We're using 2/3 cup of lemon juice. And I did want to give you a little hint about lemon juice, just to maximize the amount of lemon juice you get out of any given lemon. Actually, you can get quite a bit more lemon juice out of a lemon if you slice it lengthwise instead of crosswise, and then just juice it right out, just like that. 2/3 of a cup is what we need there. So we're going to do that. We're going to put in 2/3 cup of that beautiful lemon juice. I'm going to get my little, got a couple of seeds that got in there. And we're going to whisk that up with a pinch of salt. And then last but not least, we're going to put in 3/4 of a cup, 3/4 of a cup of unsalted butter. And at that point, we're going to actually put it on the stove at about medium-high for about 5 minutes, and we're going to continue to whisk it until it becomes thick, all incorporated, until it can coat the back of a spoon. And then I'll be right back, and I'll show you what we do with it next. So it's been about 5 minutes. I don't know if you can hear the bubbling sound, but you can certainly see how beautiful that is. And it's definitely thick enough to coat the back of a spoon, which I can show you just like that. See, isn't that lovely? Beautiful lemon color. And it's sort of settling in a little bit around the edges there. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to pour it through this sieve, just like that. And that'll just get all the bubbles out and any remnants of seeds or pulp from the lemon. And that's a very fine sieve, so it takes a couple seconds to get it through. And then what we're going to do is we're going to let it cool before we start to assemble the trifle. And as we let it cool, we're going to put this saran wrap right over the top of the curd, which keeps it from allowing a bubbly layer to gather at the top. so it keeps your curd very creamy and nice, just the way you want it. That was my timer. So I'm going to keep doing this until it goes all the way through, and then layer it really nicely there with the plastic wrap. I'm also going to whip up some whipped cream because we're going to layer it with whipped cream, and then I will show you how we put it all together, layer it, and then I'm going to do a very little special decorative thing at the end, and I'm going to show you how to put some pretty lemon decorations at the top using your fresh lemons to just give it that nice, beautiful touch at the end. So while we're waiting for the curd to cool, and before we start layering the trifle all together, I wanted to show you a little trick. And this is what I was talking about with the little decorative thing that we're going to do at the end. So since we're using a lemon-based ingredient, I wanted to decorate the top of the trifle with a pretty lemon, fresh lemon decoration. And so what I do is I basically take a half a cup of sugar and a half a cup of water, and I'm going to basically boil those over the stove. And as soon as the mixture becomes boiling, I'm going to drop these little lemon slices in and bring it down to a simmer, and then just simmer them for about 20 minutes or so. And you can see they're about 1/4 of an inch thick. And when they go into that boiling mixture and they simmer, they're going to turn into this beautiful little sugary piece of fruit, which actually you can eat, but it's going to look lovely sitting on the top of the trifle. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and when they're ready, I'll show you how they look when they come out, and then of course we'll put them all together on top of the trifle at the end. So our little candied lemons are ready to take off the stove. They've just been simmering for about 20 minutes, and I wanted to show you what they look like. So what you do is you just take them out with a slotted spoon, and literally they are candied lemons. Some of them have, kind of retained their precise shape. Some of them, which actually I think is really quite pretty, have the ones on the bottom from cooking have sort of disintegrated some of that pulp in the middle. And when they dry, they're just so pretty. They're just sort of a transparent little lemon. And like I said, they're completely edible. They taste tart for sure, but very sweet. And they'll be firm and kind of like a hard candy almost. So we're going to let those cool and go into the final step here of putting together our trifle. Okay, all these ingredients, all these beautiful fresh ingredients are ready to be assembled in the trifle, and this is my favorite part. This is the art, right? So we're going to start with our ladyfingers and start those by putting those in the very bottom of the trifle dish. And so I like to just run them across, and then I break them so that they fit around the edges. And, again, you don't have to be perfect. You just want it to be pretty, and mostly you want it to taste delicious. So what I have here, a couple things, and you have a couple of options here. I'm going to use a little Grand Marnier to brush onto the ladyfingers. And I'm going to do it gently because, this is not a dessert that is cooked, so you're really going to taste the liquor. And if you've got, kids around, they may not really like that little Grand Marnier taste. Of course, the adults will. One thing that I like to do is to take that mixture that I used for the candied lemons and just put about 1/4 cup of lemon juice in it after I've made the candy lemons. And I'm going to use a little bit of that as well to lay over the Grand Marnier, and that's going to sweeten them up a bit with a nice lemony flavor. Again, that's not too tart, not too sweet, just right. And that'll give a nice offset to the orange kind of brandy flavor you get in the Grand Marnier with the citrus lemon of this mixture. So next up is a little bit of this lemon curd. We're not doing it super thick. We're going to do about 3 layers of each ingredient. There we go. A little bit more there. And then we'll put the blueberries on. And I'm going to use a blueberry jam on top of that. We've got our beautiful blueberries. I just love the fact that this is just so beautiful and it's so fresh. And lemon and blueberries have a very nice complement to each other. There we go. And then we're going to put a little bit, actually I'll use my spoon. We're going to put a little bit of blueberry jam. Don't want to overdo it with the jam. The jam, first of all, helps bind the blueberries to the other ingredients. You definitely want to use the jam layer right on top of the blueberries, because if you put it on top of the lemon curd, it's just going to mix in and it'll just sort of look like a mess. But this way, the blueberry color blends nicely with the blueberry jam color. It just makes it nice, rich, and thick looking. And then we'll put a layer of whipped cream. And I'll just keep layering this 1 layer at a time. Like I said, we'll do 3 sets of each. And then I'll show you how it all gets finished up at the end with those lovely candied lemons on top. And this will be a wonderful, beautiful dessert for your friends the next time you have a dinner party or are invited to one. Just offer to make the dessert. So I'm just finishing up my 3rd layer. Isn't it looking pretty? Got my Ladyfingers, my Grand Marnier, a little bit of that, basically what amounts to lemon sugar water, but it's very thick since it's been boiled off and then simmering. It's got a really nice texture to it and a richness to it. And then a last bit of lemon curd. And I just love this particular recipe. You can do so many things with lemon curd. This is just one of many. Lemon curd cake is also delicious. There we go. Beautiful. And the last round of blueberries. You can see how pretty all of those layers are starting to get. There we go. And last layer there. And a little bit of jam. Now what you do want to do with this is you do want to let it cool for at least a half an hour. You want to let the ingredients all meld together, and you want to make sure that that whipped cream is nice and cool and the custard is set. So at least a half an hour, but ideally an hour or 2 hours, which is nice because you can make it ahead and then take it out at the last minute when you're ready to serve. Also, the trifle dish, just as a container for transportation, if you're taking it to a friend's house for dessert, makes it a very nice, compact dessert to take to friends. Okay, there's that. And the last bit here, last bit of whipped cream. Beautiful. And then we'll put on those pretty candied lemons and we'll be done. There we go. The whipped cream, by the way, I used heavy whipped cream and whipped it till it was, stiff peaks, and I put a couple of tablespoons of powdered sugar in it, and that gives it a nice sweetness. So here's our little candied lemons. They're so pretty, and could really serve one with every bite when you sort of cut down through the top. And there you have it. I love it. A blueberry lemon trifle. This is my own recipe, and I hope you enjoy it. Please check back with the Brown Lounge and discover all kinds of wonderful desserts, appetizers, wonderful special things for dinner parties that you can enjoy with your friends and cook with your friends as well. I hope you enjoyed this segment and look forward to seeing you again on the Brown Lounge.